Okay, moving on to something more in current events. What do we think the end result of these? Oh dear God, we hate the internet. Oh dear God, we hate the internet. I'm not talking about Apple. I'm talking about AT&T and soon to be Verizon, and I'm sure every other ISP in the United States. Do we think this is going to adversely affect iPads and Apple TV? One of the real things that the iPads had going for them, it's like if you didn't like the bandwidth caps, you just got a Wi-Fi only version and used your home and office connection. Well, now the bandwidth caps are not just on mobile connections, they're coming into the whole of the internet. And that's, I mean, both these devices, the iPad and Apple TV, are really meant to be content consumption devices, particularly the case in the Apple TV, which is really designed to be a streaming box, which is now something, the ISPs are trying to declare war on.
Downloading movies, yeah.
Yeah, well, like it or not, that uses a lot of bandwidth really quickly. Even 150 gig, you can burn through easy in a month. You can burn through 250 gig easy in a month if you got a good size house. Do we think this is going to adversely affect these products? Do you think?
I had a video similarly to it, but it was more on the data caps from Verizon and AT&T that I think it, of course, will affect the consumer in saying, well, damn, to obtain this product, it means that I must pay this much more. Now, is the product really worth it to me? Am I, if people have the cash, and it's a luxurious item, and they consider it a luxurious item, then they're probably going to throw down the cash as a luxurious item. If the productivity of that item on the other side of the spectrum is enough to pay for itself, then providing service, it will also buy it. But the guys in the middle probably won't, in my assumption, because I think that these data caps, at least like 4G and 3G, it makes me think twice about getting a product. Now I'm asking questions like, well, on a tablet or anything like that, can I pass GPS information from my phone using a Wi-Fi hotspot to a tablet? Rather, I want to be able to have all the functionality and not have to pay a certain amount. And then, am I willing to then forgo that functionality if it's going to cost me much more money for it? So.
Well, and I was advising everybody basically by figure out a way to get a grandfathered-in plan, but based on what AT&T is doing to grandfathered-in plans, I don't even think that's a way to save you, because AT&T is basically retroactively, forcibly canceling grandfathered-in plans.
Well, what has AT&T done right now? I mean, I got an increase of $5 or something.
No. What they're doing is if they think you're tethering or they think you're using too much data, they basically send you a letter that goes, you need to upgrade to a 2 gigabyte capped plan, and if you don't, we'll do it for you.
Well, that's no help.
People that are they're tethering it using third-party software. They're not using official channels for that. And AT&T is sending them emails saying, look, we know what you're doing. We want you to go through our system, or else we'll just.
Which comes.
Oh, you mean that the people are tethering and they're not paying the fee to tether? They're escaping paying.
Well, here's the thing. There's no way. The tethering plan is the 2 gigabyte plan. There is no unlimited tethering plan. It doesn't exist.
To me, I would look at it like this. I don't understand why they wouldn't do it. If you blow through all of your data, they get to charge you another $10 or whatever the hell it is. I mean, what's the point? That's their price model. Price it that way. If somebody is using that much data, fine. They're going to go over their cap and you get to charge them again on it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, like I don't agree with the whole, charging for tethering and everything. Look, if I tether an iOS device with my laptop, then I'm just going to use that much more data. They should be happy about that, because I'm going to run through the data I already paid them for that much faster, so they're going to get their money and then some.
Well, and at the end of the day, and then there's people who have devices that supported tethering, like they supported Hotspot and so forth, and Basically what I see, and they because they're doing this on the tethering, everybody's convinced this is a matter of time before it's not. Basically, my guess is by the end of next year, there will be no more unlimited AT&T plans. It will either be, oh no, you can't transfer this to your new device, or it'll be, oh no, you're using more than 2 gigs, so you need to upgrade to a 2 gigabyte cap plan, or no, we've decided that you're tethering when you're not, or you are tethering on a device that supports tethering, but we don't want to support that device, so we're canceling that device. They're going to do whatever they have to figure out a way to get everybody on these 2 gig cap plans, and they've made it clear that that's their mission statement. And Verizon has made it clear that they plan to follow suit.
Yeah, I'm not scared now that it's just going to be AT&T and Verizon.
I don't think Sprint is long for this world. The best, I said this in the Linux show that got 8, and I'm going to say it here now. Somebody sent me a thing here. I don't have it up anymore, but they were basically comparing what AT&T is doing with capping the home connections to the idea of you go to rent a house and your landlord's charging you your rent based on how many hours you're in the house, which basically means he only wants you sleeping there. You shouldn't be there during the day. If you're there during the day, the rent's going to be more. And I was like, it's sick, but that really is what they're doing.
But that's what they've been doing for a long time with their phone service, and that's where they want to go with the data. That's my theory anyway.
Oh, yeah, but see, at the end of the day, I think that's just going to kill all kinds of innovation and everything else. And honestly,
I think that at the end of the day, consumers will just complain about the prices and just
no. Here's what I see happening. On the home caps, in today's internet usage, 150 to 250 is enough. In today's internet usage. In tomorrow's internet usage, it's not enough. So what's going to happen is...
It'll get cheaper, I think, then packets of data will change. If you're saying remain static, and maintain this 150, 250 cap, I don't know, man.
But say, here's the thing. The only reason they have incentive to raise it is because people are consistently going, I'm getting the $1,000 bill from hell. I'm getting the $1,000, which nobody's going to be willing to do because nobody can afford the $1,000 bill from hell, and nobody can afford to have their internet cut off. I mean, in today's world, if your internet's cut off, you're cut off, so you can't afford to take that risk. And what I honestly see the long-term result of this being is it's going to be yet one more reason that the United States is falling behind the rest of the world in terms of technology, because we just don't have any interest in using new emerging technologies because they're different.
That's true, because ask Phil. Every European I know calls all of their carriers bloodsuckers. So, I mean, and you go to Japan and they're GSM and mostly CDMA just like we are. But they have government intervention in a lot of their stuff. So, I mean...
Phil, on that note, Phil, were you telling me that, there were, on your some of y'all were getting home connections that were now having... was it you or somebody else who was telling me you were getting home connections that are the caps being removed now?
Well, the way our network works, because from what you said the other night, that every single ISP in the US has to build their own network, right?
Largely.
Because the way we work over here, every 99.9% of ISPs all run on the same network that was built by one of the ISPs, so they all share just the one network. And there's one fibre service that we've got going around at the moment, and other ISPs are taking advantage of it gradually. And the main one that's built it has just said we're removing the data caps completely. So I was quite surprised, to be honest with you. You can see how quickly people obviously are when they're moving up.
I bet you they'll reverse that, because Adrian, one of the guys on YouTube, constantly complains about speed problems. And, I mean, in other countries that I have friends in, they're bitching that they can't even come close to the amount of speeds that we have in the United States. So I'm not sure I accept that premise that we're falling behind. We certainly have monopolies.
We're ahead right now. I'm referring more to
Oh, if you're worried about Europe, let's talk about Europe. They have a subsidized system. They just the way Phil said it, they operate the same way like Texas Power does. We have one electrical grid, and we have one electrical grid, and all these little pop-up companies like Texas Power, Amigo Energy, TXU, and all this other stuff. They all share the same damn grid. And they go, oh, well, we'll pull a little bit from the windmills, and we'll get some stuff from the coal. It's all the same damn grid that they're all riding on. So for Europe to move, the EU, which prevents CDMA from even competing because they invented GSM. I don't know. I think that doesn't look too promising to me.
I'm referring more to like countries that are switching. I'm not sure Europe is what I would consider a good example. I'm referring more to there's certain
South Korea, maybe.
Well, and then there's parts of Asia that are doing good right now too, but that's because of less geographical constraints more than it is other things. But honestly, well, and we should go into this at some point. I'm not sure. I've never understood why we are busy building at last count 8+ internet infrastructures in the United States.
Well, it's the same thing on how many roads we have in comparison to other countries. I mean, a lot of people are like, good Lord, the surplus amount of roads that we have versus other countries. And I can just tell you, like, from trips that my parents just came back from France, they're bitching about going into a hotel that there was one little cul-de-sac that you had to go just making turnaround. I mean, that's insane. You go like down this little driveway that if you like move the car just a little bit, you're going to get some paint scraped off. And then you come through like this little cul-de-sac. Oh, you put it around, just use it now. I mean, hello.
Well, okay, but if we're going to build these like 8+ networks, is there any reason that they can't share with each other to help balance loads?
I think they eventually will. Look, we always go through these cycles of where everything damn merges together because the economy is a certain way. Then the economy changes, and they go, oh, well, hell no. We need to deregulate. Then the law goes in, and bam.
You know what? This country is definitely going through one of those phases where everybody's buying everybody. I don't think Sprint's going to be around much longer, to be honest. I see sometime in the next 3 years Verizon buying Sprint.
You remember when NCI was like becoming God, and they bought GT, and all of a sudden everything explodes again?
I was watching an old Simpsons episode the other day where they weren't like making a joke. Like MCI was the big yada yada company selling the screw you plan. I'm like, MCI, whoa, this is old, because it wasn't like making fun of MCI. It was just like MCI. It's like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, but like in Europe, but okay, Phil just said that they're removing the caps. I have several acquaintances that live in England, and they'll tell me stories about they have like these vehicles that go around like shooting some sort of detection at your home to see if you're stealing cable, for crying out loud, and all this other stuff. I mean,
to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me. I've never heard of that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Who needs to steal cable?
Yes, I'm sorry. I went 1 megabyte over my cap. I don't know. We're ever implemented.
That'll be $1,000, sir. We have to build our copper infrastructure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm having a hard time having sympathy for AT&T here because they claim they're broke, but they're buying T-Mobile for how many billions of dollars? $6
billion or something like that.
It's $39 billion.
Okay, here's where I look at it. They have a budget, and the whole purpose of buying T-Mobile is to ease their network. Yes, if you look at it from a budget perspective, they're saying we have X amount of dollars in the billions. This was what we were planning to save on and to build and expand our network. But that includes higher cost fees because we have to deal with cities and municipalities. See, it's probably different than for Phil, what Phil was saying in Europe, because the government gets involved and probably helps out and foots some of the bill. But in the United States, they don't care. The government says you're doing it on your own, but you're going to pay us to get a license to build it.
And then there'll be this sudden extra license fee for a license fee.
It's that wake up right here. Yeah, Phil. See, in your country, the government will, they'll maybe not be the most efficient thing, but you can physically see some of the government saying, "Yeah, we're going to subsidize some of this." Our government, they could care less. They're going to tell you, "That's all on you, chief." But you know what? To even start, I want you to pay up a little bit of money.
Yeah, where's that protection money?
This is for administrative fees so that we can improve the flushing mechanism.
Oh no, and they're very quick always. For those of you who aren't familiar with United States bureaucracy, if you ever make the mistake of calling it a tax, they will be very quick to point out it's not a tax; it's an administrative fee.
That's exactly how we operate here. That's an administrative fee.
Yeah, that's not a tax. You're just paying it to the government, but it's not a tax.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean that's AT&T is looking at their budget and saying, "Damn, do we have to deal with this?" Because T-Mobile's already got their network laid out. Bam! No more dealing with some government stuff and waiting, because that does take time. It's not necessarily the money factor, but it takes time to say, "Damn, we're going to have to expand more in Chicago. We got to expand more here in California or in Florida or Texas."
Well, and this is the other reason I think they should be sharing the networks. And honestly, like you're saying, I honestly think, aside from excessive greed and aside from other things, one of the real things that does get in the way of this system just working is bureaucratic bullcrap.
Sure.
Which...
By T-Mobile. T-Mobile's like, bam! The permits are already there, the cable's already been laid, the network's already... We don't have to wait. Bam, let's use the budget we have for expanding our network and buy T-Mobile. Boom. Infrastructure's just been expanded overnight.
Okay, but, then how about you loosen those bandwidth usage caps some? Because now you alleviate some of the thing, It's like quid pro quo. It's like, okay, if you're going to spend the money this way, then you can't be bitching this way, Just saying.
There should be a little bit of, I agree, there should be some easing, but I know that I've read several articles from non-biased sources that are analysts of telecom here, and have nothing to do with the companies that constantly warn of network failures and overload of net and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I'm still not sure I'd buy it. Anyways, anything else we want to go into? I want to leave the HTML5 goodies shit till next week, because it's kind of one of those, both sides of that need to be covered. And since Linux got 8, we'd only be covering this side, and we have to be fair and cover all the stuff there, because there's good stuff going on for Apple, there's good stuff going on for Google, there's also bad stuff both ways, there's bad stuff open source, bad stuff Microsoft, it's a can of worms.
We discussed this HTML5. We discussed this before in even the tests. Didn't we discuss? I thought we discussed it. We're talking about the I guess you would call it proprietary HTML5 within iAds and
this is different. This would be getting into who's ready for HTML5, why is who's not ready. Are we really going to be seeing HTML5 this year? Is it going to take 3 or 4 years where everybody gets ready? What things, there's what designers would like to be doing with HTML5 versus oversights that both Apple and Google have made in terms of, looking at it from this point of view basis, you could do it with there's a whole can of worms in that. It's not bashed on any one particular company. It's just looking at HTML5 could be this, and this is the dream. Who's really ready for it? Which is a different thing altogether.
Look, open standards is another bureaucracy in itself. When we look at OpenGL, everybody was hoping OpenGL 3 would be this godsend, and bureaucracy got in the way and hurt it, and then they had to go to 3.2 specifications just to get some of the specifications that were supposed to be in 3, and that's just part of the open standard. That's why I made that video about lots of things.
Honestly, most of the crap going on right now has less to do with the standards being ratified and more to do with some tug-of-wars going on between industry giants.
That's what happened in standards. That's what I'm getting at. Look what happened with when Microsoft interfered with cascading style sheets and all that stuff. Remember that? And and they weren't going to support.
And the industry just kind of gave Microsoft the giant F finger and said, "Fine, it won't work with IE, Microsoft. You have your way." That's like.
But this kind of stuff goes on. Oh, sure.
Oh yeah, I know. But yeah, it's we want to be fair and cover that more so. So, anything else we want to go into, or do we want to kind of wrap up there? We're actually at about an hour, believe it or not.
I don't know. You got anything scopeless for Phil?
No. Oh, sorry.
No, I don't mind.
Okay, I guess we'll stop a little short there this week and pick that stuff up next week after we've gotten to kind of let all the stuff go out. So,
okay.
All right. Hopefully y'all got some useful information this week, and I'm sorry Linux got 8, but at least you got iWorld. I've named the title Awe for that.